Hi, Mike Pekor here from Long Island Hypnotherapy, www.liphypnosis.com, and Tai Chi of Long Island, www.taichili.com. Spirituality, what is it? Well, it's not religion. Spirituality is something that is universal. It is something that is a common thread that runs through all religious practices and also through the lives of many people that do not identify with any religion, do not practice any religion formally, do not practice any meditative techniques on a regular basis, do not belong to any particular groups, but people who just begin to sense and with a tremendous curiosity pursue certain feelings and thoughts and ideas about man's position in the universe and the universe itself. And then as an individual within humankind, it's sort of like removing the concern about personal identity, life story, who we are as individuals, and just objectifying what's going on, including ourselves as part of what we objectify. Our own minds we objectify. We look at the mind as a phenomenon that's occurring, that we are not really in charge of, that just sort of has its own inertia, its own Tao, its own way, its own patterns. And we begin to have a more universal perspective, a more generic perspective on who we are, what we are, and what is everything else that what we are is in relation to. And what happens is eventually you begin to sense, a person begins to sense, quite possibly, and it's happened at least a whole bunch of times already in the past, that people begin to sense that the trick is to see that we are not the individual identity, the individual persona, the person with the name and the history and the family situation and the life goals. All of those things are part of what we perceive, but they are certainly not the sum total of it. In other words, when the body and the brain come to die, when life leaves the body and the brain behind, and the body and the brain are disintegrating, the brain is part of the body, but in any event, something endures. There's an eternal, infinite, complete something that continues. It's been called the soul, which is described as a manifestation of God, a part of God, an extension of God, an expression of God, a nerve ending of God, which meets matter, which comes to meet matter and gives shape to matter and pattern to matter. Like I'm Mike Pekor, that's the pattern that's being spun to create me throughout my lifespan. And even though my body, every cell changes, and these cells are all different from the cells that were here when I was a baby, the pattern is an evolving pattern, but it's a recognizable pattern. So there's some intelligence that's creating it, sustaining it, moving it through its lifespan as a physical form. But the life that animates this, that animates me, is not limited to the physical form that it's animating, or the mental faculty that is springing from this physical organism, or arising in conjunction with it, mutually arising. So life is one intelligence that gives rise to many expressions of itself. And so there are many ways to say the same thing. Some of them sound more religious, some sound more scientific, some more philosophical, some more mystical. What's the difference, really, in the end? When the body and brain die, there will be plenty of other body and brains that are being born, and even if nuclear holocaust takes place and the entire all life on earth ends, that which has given rise to it in the first place certainly is far superior to, greater than, more all-encompassing than the ending of physical life and its expression in the physical plane.